Hi, my name is Glenn Story. I'm the founder and CEO of Patriot Mobile. I'd love for you to learn more about Patriot Mobile, www.patriotmobile.com/Gene V. More importantly, I'd like you to be a subscriber to his show. I mean, his Truthcast is amazing. And if you get to listen to some of them, you'll never go back. I really encourage you to come watch it.
The one we're featuring this week is Luis Sanchez from the Cigar Shop. He owns a company called La Tradicion Cubana. The Cigar Shop, Miami, Florida, since 1995. This Luis is really one heck of a guy. He's determined to manufacture cigars based on an unprecedented excellence in quality using old-fashioned Cuban methods. You can get this to become part of your branding experiment. I'm using this with my guests on the Grassroots Truthcasts. This could be your brand on your product, your service, anywhere in the world. Look for Luis Sanchez at thecubanshop.com.
Gene Valentino.
Hey, good morning, Gene.
And good morning, gentlemen. How's everybody in the Pine Belt?
It's all good this morning. We have a little bit of rain. I don't know. It's supposed to be a rainy weekend here. What about you? Are you going to get some rain?
Well, we are. It's part of that front from the north and west coming eastward. 67 and very cloudy here in the panhandle of Florida right now. But what you experience first usually comes right after to us.
Yeah, so you expect to get a little rain then this weekend. But hey, it's also raining on the party in Washington, at least for Kristi Noem. Looks like President Trump, ejected her from the game, but he did give her a soft landing by allowing her to move on to something else. That's usually the way they do it in these big corporations, isn't it?
Yeah, soft landing indeed. There was some internal strife and bad behavior that existed there. That some of it's alleged, some of it is supposedly happened. But the real truth is that Donald Trump has no time to waste. He's coming up on the midterms with a 74% approval rating, which is unprecedented. Obama, Biden, and Bush and Clinton never had this experience in the end of the second year of a 4-year term. They were always in the 30s and 40s. He's up in the high 70s, and you know what that tells me? That amidst everything going on, there's even the crazy Democrats in Congress can't look the other way anymore. They do see formidable results coming through the Trump administration that is unbelievable. Yeah, we're going to see some oil prices rise a little, reportedly 27 cents per gallon since the start of this Iranian war, literally 1 week ago. Well, it was last Friday we were talking, Michael, and it was that evening the president announced things into motion on Operation Epic Fury. And today we have unprecedented results going on over there. I took some notes of what I've been listening to others talk about over the last week. Here's a first. Well, I should say there's 5 firsts that have just kicked in as a result of this war. The United States had this much military power ever. That's a first. They've never had this much military power ever in the Middle East. U.S. deployed combat aircraft to Israel for use for the first time. Some of the F-35s flown by Israeli war pilots. The first time one-way combat attack drones have been used. The first time a long-range precision missile strikes were used in combat. And it's the first time the enemy ships were sunk by torpedoes since World War II. Those are 5 firsts that have definitely impacted and caused China to sit back on their heels and say, wow, Michael, gee, I better give some second thought as to whether I get crazy over in the Taiwan Straits and try to take Taiwan, or Russia maybe couldn't be perfect time with prices on oil going up, trying to figure out what to do with Ukraine. And here's Ukraine, President Zelenskyy offering, and I just heard it on the news this morning, offering an announcement saying anybody who was our ally, who stepped up to help Ukraine fight its war against Russia, will get our support in the construction, delivery, and mobilization of drones for wartime use. So this has really taken hold, and I couldn't be happier.
You know, the president has actually unleashed our military. That's the one thing that I love about this conflict, is that he has taken all of the brakes off of the military and allowed them to do their job. Congressman Ezel and I were talking about this yesterday. And the fact that I mentioned that my dad told me one time in law enforcement, he said, you know, law enforcement has the ability and the tools to keep crime at a very, very low level. Yep. It's the politicians that stop them from being able to do that. And it's the same way with the military. These guys know what to do. They've got the ability. They have the equipment. They know exactly what it takes to end this conflict quickly. And I think President Trump has totally unleashed them to do what they need to do to get this over and get it over fast.
And the adrenaline is geometric. You have military folks stepping up. Now, they're not going to talk about revenge, but how many Americans died? In the thousands, going back 47 years, at the hands of wrongdoers in Iran. This is, I don't care whether you like the term or not, this is at the very least Trump exercising revenge on behalf of America against those perpetrators of demonic forces that have turned on America over the years and are some of our allies. You got the Kurds over in Afghanistan. Kurds who have become strong supporters of democracy and the United States. If these Democrat liberals are worrying about America in a prolonged conflict or ground forces over there, the Kurds couldn't be happier to step in and get on the ground movement and become our allies in the ground force mobilization that Israel and America have been focusing by air and sea. It's just outrageous what they have done to hurt America. And let that be a lesson to any of these Islamists and jihadists here in the United States who refuse to swear an oath of allegiance to the flag and America, that their intention to be sleeper cells to strike later upon America may be nothing more than a delay in their demise, which is about to happen. Look at what's happened even in just 1 week. The Muslim countries who were not willing to get involved are now involved. Jordan, Kuwait, UAE, Oman, Qatar, and Bahrain. All these areas of the Middle East. We'll keep our hands off. Do you remember Saudi Arabia telling Jared Kushner after the Abraham Accords, historic unto itself, that you had the Arabs stepping up to now work out a peace arrangement, a collaboration of sorts with Israel. All of a sudden to find out that, we're going to back off, Jared. We're going to, we here in the Middle East need to stay out of this pending feud that's about to kick in with Israel and Iran, United States and Iran. Well, the Iranians threw some missiles their way at those 8 countries I just mentioned. Now you got 8 countries on board in the Middle East stepping up saying, hey, how can we help? And then out of left field, you've got Ukraine stepping up saying, hey, we're going to help you build some drones. Something's going on here Maybe they're a little late to the game, but late is better than not coming to the game. Here's who's ticked me off. How about 3 countries like Great Britain, Spain, and France? Late to the table, if not at all. Wusses in their own right. I have another word I won't use, but actual wimps that refuse to step up for America when America proved itself in the 40s to come to their defense big time when Germany was slaughtering them at the hands of Hitler. We saved Europe. We saved France, Germany, and Great Britain. And now they've got this liberal chip on their shoulder about how much they're going to do to get involved. They need a spanking. They need an economic spanking, and Trump's giving it to them.
Yeah, those countries like Spain, for example, they have a really woke leader there who, much like Ken Starmer, Starmer is a liberal left-wing lawyer who, has his whole career has been nothing but just liberal pansy stuff, as you called it earlier. I think you called it wussy, and that's the wussification of our world is something that Rush Limbaugh even talked about many years ago. We heard this.
That's right.
We need real men running this world that understand how difficult it is to keep the peace and what it takes when the peace is no longer with us. When war breaks out, we need a president that will unleash the military and let them do their job. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. You hear people. One of the things I wanted to bring up about this war, it makes you nauseous. But if you get on X or if you get on Facebook or Instagram, you see these so-called pundits that are supposedly knowledgeable about wars. And they actually know nothing. But in any case, they say, hey, the United States is running out of weapons because they're using B-52s to drop dumb bombs. Well, the truth is that's called air supremacy, not air superiority. Air superiority is when they can still try to shoot you down. Air supremacy is when they can't shoot you down anymore and you're dropping bombs. And you're using cheap bombs instead of those expensive standoff bombs that they shoot from 300 miles away to keep from getting shot down.
Yeah. So that's a very good example, Michael, because in the last 5 days of this war with Iran, which Congress refused to tried to stifle Trump from getting involved in the last 5 or 6 days, we've seen a complete use of what I would call secondary munitions kick in to attack the enemy. And you've got the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, and the rest of the Defense Department stepping up and saying, you haven't seen the worst yet. The worst is about to come. And so as we speak right now, this Friday morning, the 6th of March, it's mid-afternoon over there, around 3:00 in the afternoon, and they're in the midst of a barrage of a second wave attack that's going to make the paint peel. I mean, it's going to be significant. Here's Donald Trump 2 days ago bragging about having just sunk 20 ships, and with the Secretary of War had to correct him with General Cooper, I think it was, coming forward and saying, no, Mr. President, I'm sorry, since you last mentioned that, it's now up to 30, maybe hitting 40. And he's stuck. He can't keep the tally straight. And there's the Democrats fighting over crazy Epstein files, trying to distract and divert your attention off the real issues that protect this democracy long term. Hey, folks, once we get this war behind us, and it's a matter of weeks, not months, we need to clean house in the United States Congress and get rid of the wimps that we have internally that have disguised themselves as American citizens, but are nothing more than illegal and hostile insurgents ready to disrupt this democracy from within. We've got to nail it and get it out of our system. And that's why I'm glad President Trump, if Kristi Noem had to go, I'm glad he went with Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. He's a kick-ass mixed martial arts fighter himself. This guy knows how to spook the hell even out of his close friends. So
That's right.
we've got the right guy in place to get on top of issues.
I agree.
Involving.
All right. We got to go. That's it. The time
No
is
way.
up playing. Yeah, we did that quick. Thank you for joining us, Gene. Have a great weekend.
Look forward to next week, buddy. Best to everybody. The one we're featuring this week is Luis Sanchez from the Cigar Shop. He owns a company called La Tradicion Cubana. The Cigar Shop, Miami, Florida, since 1995. This Luis is really one heck of a guy. He's determined to manufacture cigars based on an unprecedented excellence in quality using old-fashioned Cuban methods. You can get this to become part of your branding experiment. I'm using this with my guests on the Grassroots Truthcasts. This could be your brand on your product, your service, anywhere in the world. Look for Luis Sanchez at thecubanshop.com.